Yo from Hovo. This is Team Matt Latrins, your Coyote on the court, and we're in Sin City for a Western Conference battle between the Hawaii Kahunas and the Las Vegas Wildcards, right here on SportsDen. I'm appearing courtesy of Hovo Management, top quality career management for FBA athletes, and I am not alone. But before I introduce my co-host, I want to assure everyone I have put away the Acme catalog. The rocker-powered skates are back in storage, and while there is birdseed here in the booth with us, I promise I did not put any magnetic filings in it. I'm proud to be here with the esteemed analyst Ryan Eastman with the FSPN. Ryan, it's a treat to share the booth with you.
That it is. How many years has it been since the last time you were up here?
It's been a very long time. I believe 2015 was the last year that I actually did a live coverage of an FBA game.
Well, didn't you get to cover the that awesome buzzer beater, Victor Voss, to win the finals?
My gosh, see, that's just making me feel old there but you're right that I was covering that game. That was the Spectrums won their one and only championship, the 2015 FBA Finals. And you're right, Victor Voss putting up that last shot, hitting the buzzer beater and taking it away. That was an amazing match. And really, unfortunately, stole something away from poor Roger Umechi that night, though Roger got him back. I found out later that a year after that, Roger took some hardware home just himself. So I think something got inspired in the Husky. He'll probably be inspired again still today.
And speaking of the Husky, now here in Sin City, Las Vegas, traded away from the Baltimore Spirits. He's been on a bit of a journey, obviously. Alaska, Albany, Baltimore, now in Las Vegas. What do you think his chances are on this kind of team, making it back to the playoffs and going for another ring to complement his first?
Well, if there's anything we've learned is that Las Vegas is not a destination, it's a road. Everybody seems to be moving through this team, and just as we've seen years before, a whole different roster, a whole different club. I was looking over all the names here, and I had to take some notes because there's a lot of names I didn't realize they're playing for Vegas now. And we've got ourselves only two of these players on this entire starting line right now, on the roster. Actually, were there last year. Misha Maxwell, and of course Zaire Tipton, who has to be there by a contract order. But everyone else, Dennis Summers, Roger Mechi, Nikolai Volkov, Mariam V. Wallstein, they're all came from other teams. It's just a completely different lineup, and that is very much a difference from the team they're facing. Hawaii Kahunas coming out here from over the water, and the Kahunas, they are pretty much the same thing they have been from last year, with only a single different name of Eldred Dara, who's coming off deep bench for this match. It's just incredible, apples and oranges. You're talking about one team that has been well established, well suited, where everyone has been playing together, and you got a club that's still figuring out to put themselves together, though granted, they've been doing a pretty good job in what is a really competitive conference.
Extremely. I mean, any team except for maybe Arizona is in the hunt for a playoff spot coming up on All-Star Week, not too far off. But we mentioned, obviously, Hawaii made it to the finals for their second year in a row last year, and it's pretty much the exact same team. Las Vegas, a completely new team for the most part, but this is a rematch from last year's opening round where Hawaii faced off against Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas only managed to pull away one win in that series. What are your thoughts here against this rematch here tonight? Did the roster changes this offseason for Las Vegas put them in a better position to steal more wins away from Hawaii?
You know, the funny thing about that is that I almost wonder if Las Vegas would have been better if they had gotten swept in that series. The thing that is the funny is if you look at Hawaii's history, didn't make the playoffs at all in 2017. They did make the playoffs in 2018 as the number 6 seed, but were swept by Alaska, didn't win a single game. And that's the beginning of Hawaii's giant climb, where suddenly they're in the finals of 2019. They're in the finals of 2020. And now they're fighting to get into those finals again, make 3 finals in a row. And that hunger is just unbelievable. It almost makes me wonder if Las Vegas had maybe not gotten that one game, if they would have that same punch coming into the series. They have a hunger that goes back to 2017 when they did make it to number 7 in the Western Conference seeding and went all the way to the Western Conference Finals, losing to Montana. That was a really tough loss for them after performing so well in the playoffs. Have been out of the finals for a couple of years after that. Did squeak in last year and got that one win. And here they're trying to do it again, and they're doing it with a completely different team. I mean, the thing is that's so curious about this is that you again going back to having one club that's well established with Hawaii, you got another club that is just experimenting, trying to put together a team. It's a completely different philosophy between these two clubs, and yet both of them still here halfway into this season with a shot at getting into the finals, which is pretty exciting.
And how much do you credit Umechi on that factor for Las Vegas, considering it is a brand new team, but you do have that all-star veteran presence kind of at the center of this roster that's, for the most part, very young. Dennis Summers and Nikolai Volkov, both 2018 draftees in the starting lineup. How much is Las Vegas' success based on Umechi and his experience?
Mechi's critical. Absolutely critical. The only way you can bring together a bunch of young players like this and make them work as a unit is by bringing in some veteran help. And bringing in Umechi is absolutely critical to this. It was a smart move by Las Vegas. They knew that they had to recreate their team after they lost DuPont and Kirkpatrick. And so when that happened, they knew they had to scramble to put this team back together. What they did, I think, is smart. They took good young talent, good promising young talent, and they anchored it with a really real veteran, a veteran with hardware, no less. Roger Umechi coming out of that 2016 Albany team that won the finals and pulling along Lindsey Morrison after moving around quite a bit around the league, coming back, joining up with Umechi again. Interestingly enough, played with them on 3 different teams, Albany, Baltimore, and now Las Vegas. And it's kind of exciting to see that these two are carrying each other through and hopefully to another finals in this match. I think that's really important because you do have some great talent. Dennis Summers has been outstanding. Last 3 games, player of the game in all 3 victories for Las Vegas. They're really on a tear right now and coming in with a lot of good momentum. And that's important because Misha Maxwell underperformed last game. She did not do very well, unfortunately, really underperforming, sliding into a negative efficiency rating. Whereas Nikolai Volkov underperformed below his average, a little bit of pull-up, and Mary Malstein, pretty balanced, just kind of moving around her average, could do a lot better. So, I mean, we've got players that are going up and down here, but the consistency has been Summers, playing above average, player of the game 3 times in a row, and you got Roger Umechi also playing above average, doing it well. That is that pull that you're getting from those players is really what's bringing this entire team up. It's critical. Roger Umechi is absolutely the most important asset right now on the Las Vegas team.
And looking on over at Hawaii, what player do you have an eye on tonight's game? Who's critical? Who's the key point for Hawaii if they're going to come out with a win tonight?
Right now, in my mind, it's Scooney Barrett and Julian Cross-Corrali. These two have been playing together solidly with the team. They are established Hawaii veterans, and they are both absolutely dominant as far as just bringing up the points, creating a powerful offense-defensive pairing that has just bring them wins and wins. The reason they were in the finals for the last 2 seasons is just because of these guys and the strength, the base they're able to build that everyone else is able to build on. Unquestionably, they've got amazing talent. One of the most deadly starting lines in the FBA right now. Yona Vastenhout has been outstanding, very consistent, absolutely spectacular player. 9 players of the game so far. You just cannot get over that. And he has just been playing so well. And what's critical, what's remarkable, 5 years in, putting in the endurance. 35 minutes per game. He is putting in more time than anyone else on the court right now. And you just got to be impressed with how much he is pulling his team along. Top of that, Warren Doyle, always consistently strong, still consistent. Now, granted, a couple nights ago, had a really, really poor game, really dropped quite a bit, but he made up for it in the previous game. So he is coming in, rebuilding strong. Had a little bit of a rough January, stronger December, but hopefully he's going to be able to start in February with the same strength that he's had in most months. And then Zach Tate, the defensive machine, block champion right now here in the FBA, 2.43 blocks per game, which is ridiculous. I mean, we're talking Paul Terranora numbers. It is just incredible how much he is doing here. But they are all going to be able to. They definitely have got all the momentum they need going into this game. I would say that most people would probably look at the Hawaii Kahunas and think that they've got an edge on Las Vegas. But the thing that Las Vegas has got is they have smartly put together their roster. I was looking over this the other day. Whereas Hawaii just keeps their roster the same game after game, really haven't touched it since November. It's really kind of been the same. Las Vegas, they've been moving their players around, experimenting a whole lot again, just trying out new things, and they're doing it here again. I think it's smart. By sliding Nikolai Volkov, despite being a little bit taller than Merriam V. Wallstein, sliding him into the power forward position is a smart way to deal with the twin towers you've got with Scooney Barrett and Zach Tate. Got two giant players creating a very powerful defensive wall. You need height. And they're putting their height up front with Nikolai Volkov in the power forward position, Merriam Wallstein in the center position. And that is a good pairing. Merriam Wallstein's got the strength to be able to possibly, hopefully, hold back an amazing Zach Tate, whereas Nikolai Volkov just might be able to use his extra inches on Scooney Barrett to keep him from getting the points that he usually gets in these matches.
Yeah, definitely an advantage with his speed compared to Wallstein. Might be able to keep up with the Otter. I do looking at the two rosters, not just the starting lineup, but the bench, where we might see some weaknesses from both teams. You mentioned Yona definitely putting in the heavy minutes for Hawaii, but at the same time, then you look at their bench, and they really only have one backup point guard, and that is Tay Delgado, and he's definitely had some good games, but he has struggled in others. And on the flip side for Las Vegas, I question if their big depth is truly strong enough to stand up in certain situations where they might be fouling out or having foul trouble. Obviously, Tipton in her second year, but outside of that, it's just Varnege to back up the center position with Wallstein and Nikolai starting tonight.
That's true. And Varnege has not been playing much. Didn't play at all in November. Only played at the very end of December. I mean, honestly, Varnege has not been putting in a lot of games. And now, granted, he's on a tear right now. If you look at his last three matches, not only were these games wins, but he performed better in each and every one. So he might have had a late start here in this season, but he's having a good climb right now. And I think that the Las Vegas coach is probably hoping that he can keep that momentum going and roll into this game with a lot of punch off the bench. There are some curious choices they've made on the bench. Casey Rux, playing right after playing his first game only 2 nights ago, now he's finally playing his second. He's been in the reserve all this time. The team wants to give him a shot. They're experimenting and thinking that maybe they can do something with the veteran. After 7 years' experience, he's got a lot to bring, and he's got a lot to prove. I think that there is some merit to that. And then, of course, Tyler Conley coming in off the bench for this game as well. Been a solid bench player. He is going to bring a huge infusion of defense, as he always has, into the game, and he should be able to be a good asset when things are getting tough in the middle of the game. That's one thing that is going to be very exciting to watch. Hawaii has played historically through this season in a heavy first and fourth quarter game. They press their starting line in the first and the fourth, looking to really start strong, get a big punch, and then finish strong, put in the closers. Now, I'm a third quarter Coyote. I think the games are won in the heart of the game. And that's where the Las Vegas Wildcards are putting their muscle, is putting their starters most strongly in the second and the third. And I think that's a good move. If they can keep a nice, long, strong second and third moving with a good, deep bench and a lot of talent, because they have put, as you say, Zaire Tipton, Lindsey Morrison coming off the bench. These are both fantastic players, both starter caliber. But by preserving that muscle and keeping it for the second and third, they might be able to build a lead in the middle of the game that will carry them through to the very end. It's going to be interesting to watch.
And speaking of, I think I see the players heading down to the court now to get this game going.
All right. All right, they are lining up, ready for the tip-off. By the way, I love being in Vegas. Vegas wins it. All right, they won the gamble on this one. So Volkov picking up the rock. He hands it off to Summers. And the Kangaroo from Oakland keeping himself in the woods. Good spread on the players here. There's a lot of strong defense. Tipped, but it was picked up by Wallstein. Beautiful hands there by the big cow. Umechi now with it. He's coming in from the outside. Puts it up from the key. No good, though. Volkov was able to recover it. Turnaround is not picked up. Scooty with the rebound. They're bringing it back.
Yeah, offensive rebounds, I think, for both teams will play a big factor. Hawaii known for their rebounding prowess with Tate and Scooney. I want to see how these two teams box each other out here tonight.
There's the first blood of the game right there. Scooney Barrett from 20 feet out, hitting the jumper. The otter out of Musselman University of Michigan. One exciting thing about this team is the fact that we've got Scooney Barrett on one side and Zaire Tipton on the other, both out of Musselman University of Michigan. Zaire Tipton famously, oh my goodness, with the slammer, Roger Umechi. Mr. Umechi, there are pups in this audience. Was that necessary?
Of course it was necessary. I mean, you got to get the fans the value of their ticket for coming out tonight. It's not cheap coming to a game in Vegas.
That's true. Well, the Husky definitely is liking his new digs there. That was a fantastic way to get an introduction for Las Vegas. Don't start with a bucket, start with a slam. Answered with a very nice floater. People won't remember that one quite as well, but good job, Hawaii. Hard dribble inside. Misha Maxwell back to the basket. Turnaround. Turnaround's no good. A little bit too much mustard on that one. The mustard is back. Vastenhout throwing it in, and the floater is good, so that puts Hawaii up by 2 baskets. Alrighty, Hawaii playing a big game. Las Vegas right now only with the scoring so far with just Roger Umechi's slammer on the inside. Volkov passes inside, gets Maxwell. The kick out, no good, and it's recovered by Hawaii.
Yeah, Maxwell needs to pick it up a little bit here. As you said, she's had some rough games this season so far, and Morrison's been nipping at her heels as a potential future starter for this team if she can't pull it together.
Wallstein picking up the foul there, made too much contact. I appreciate the aggressiveness, though. Wallstein, usually not a very aggressive player, but she knows that she's going to have to be against this Hawaii offense.
Can't give up an inch against this team. As speaking of, Volkov with the block.
Beautiful job by the big Wolf. Steph Wolf out of Russia, putting the paw up and stealing it away. Still holding on to it, but he's got to get rid of it. Doesn't have the ball control that a big Wolf should. Hands it off. Summers moving around with it. Can't seem to get close enough. He gets underneath, almost loses it, but he's able to stay inside. And then the floater over his ears. It's in. Another bucket for Las Vegas.
And that's not his normal range. He's definitely more of a three-point shooter. And that's what I want to see here tonight. Who gets it going from beyond the arc? Obviously, JCK, one of the best three-point shooters in the league for Hawaii.
He must have heard you. Took a step inside. That was a two-pointer. But you see JCK hitting the long ball 22 feet out. Beautiful. Nothing but net on that one. Maxwell driving from the forest. Comes inside. Sloppy one off the key, but looks like JCK now following that bucket with a foul. That puts Misha Maxwell at the line for 2.
Got to make it from the charity stripe. It might be important here. They're looking like they're attacking down low in the post. First 2 baskets coming down low, and now only one. Almost called it early.
That is a surprise. Usually it's super good from the charity stripe, but Misha Maxwell missing the second, splits them. Cheat out of Hard Walk University. Probably had a thinking about Trent Sequoia for a second there. I know that's a little bit of beef for her. Umechi taking the quick pass upside. That will go real fast, but we have to go back to the woods. Summers for 3. It's good.
There we go. First blood from beyond the arc goes to Las Vegas.
Excellent job by the Kangaroo out of UFLA. Visiting over from the Lone Stars. Big pickup. Oh, almost a block from behind, but not quite. The bucket is good. That puts Hawaii up by 2. Summers bringing the ball up. He's coming off of an excellent three-pointer. Maxwell. Turnaround. Good. It's good. Beautiful job by Maxwell there. Get the turnaround on the inside key.
First bucket for her so far tonight after missing the first 2 opportunities. So good to see her getting it going here. JCK wants the 3 of his own, but no good.
Didn't happen that time. Too bad for the Saluki from Khan, but that was a beautiful open shot there. And inside,
God.
Summers brings it down.
Sorry, I'm in shock with that beautiful dunk there from the Vrew, emulating Malone a little bit there, going high, and Throwing it back down hard.
Yeah, somewhere out there, I'm thinking that Malone's definitely looking at trademark infringement. That was just insane. Outstanding job there. And Wildcards keep it going as they take the lead and move up by 4. That was a beautiful pull back in the fadeaway shot. Bounced off the glass and in. Trying to answer back, but not good. But Barrett able to scoop it back in, gets the second chance points. A good job by Scooney Barrett, giving them a second chance of that one.
If you're playing Hawaii, you know they are crashing the offensive glass after every shot. The game, the possession is not done until you have 2 paws on it.
Tough double team there on Summers there. They were definitely giving defense. He has to get rid of it, handing him back off to Mechi. Mechi's looking for a way inside, but the defense is strong. Rolled around the iron, no good, and back to the Hawaii. So Hawaii's got a chance to tie it up here. Cross Corrali, he's wide open. Decides to take the shot from the key. I guess he was showing some mercy to us all. I definitely know that JCK could have slammed that down for everyone. But, you know, his puppy just turned 1, didn't want to scare him.
Yeah, well, I think the puppy is probably taking a nap right now while Dad's at work. It's about that time where some of us start getting cranky if we don't get our afternoon nap.
How could you snap during a game like this? This is exciting.
Oh, well, Amisha Maxwell starting to catch on fire here. That's her second bucket now, 2 in a row.
Doyle now. He's got this deep forest on this one. Looking for an out. He's able to swing pass over to Vastenhout, who has to get it to Cross Corrali. Cross Corrali now at the charity stripe, but doesn't like the shot. Vastenhout, tough 3, no good. There's too much pressure on that one, but Barrett keeps it alive, able to pass it out. And another 3 attempt, this time again, back of the iron, and now Wallstein's hands get around the ball, and that'll keep it with Vegas. And Volkov inside!
It is a dunk showcase here tonight for Las Vegas. That's 3 so far in a wide variety. Umechi and Summers slamming it down hard, and surprisingly, the Big Wolf was the one with the softer touch there.
Beautiful job by the Step Wolf in Russia. He was right there in position. That was a fast transition by Las Vegas and shows the up-tempo game they're really going for here. I thought they were going to save the muscle for the second and third, but it looks like the first is where it's going to happen out. Way wild shot. That was like a 32-footer. Would have been amazing if that went in, but of course it didn't. Umechi with pressure and the one.
Yeah, and that's just showing the last 2 possessions for Hawaii. We've seen the shot clock start to get into the situation where it is a factor in what they're forced to take. And like you said, a wild 32-footer almost there last possession. They need to do better at setting up their plays sooner or getting a better shot opportunity for that last possession, last ball holder.
Dasher completes the 3-point play, able to make it all. That brings their lead up by 7. 4 1/4 minutes left in the first. Sunderman now on the floor. Jared Sunderman, last amphibian in the FBA after the retirement of Randy Catcher. The ball's stolen, wide open. They may not be giving the ball to Sunderman again so quickly.
I was going to say, may not be in the league much longer if he's going to give the ball up like that and an easy layup. Dunphy could have probably gone for a dunk there if she so chose. And Doyle with her 3.
Excellent job by the spotted Hyena Coyote out of Sayola Memorial University.
Oh,
Saw the open, had the open look, had the open shot, and took it. Not bad. No doubt the computer science majors made him calculate exactly where it was going to go.
Now he stemmed the bleeding a bit. Vegas was starting to get on a bit of a roll there, and Hawaii has been in a bit of a drought. Obviously, the bench players now on the floor might change up the tempo and pace.
Unlucky roll there. Tay Delgado with the leader from behind, not able to make it go down. Oh! Beautiful opportunity, completely missed. Unfortunately, a beautiful feed right at the basket, but too much magic at the hoop. Yeah, Hawaii shows them how it's done. Instead, why don't you just go for the easy roll? The paw roll always works a little bit more efficiently than the crazy dunk. Maybe it doesn't get on the news as much, but...
Sorry, I thought it was at the dunk contest for a second there with Tipton going for that.
Yeah, she clearly was trying to show off. You know, probably saw Scooney with sat down like, hey, Scoons, look what I can do. Well, we're still waiting to see what you can do there.
Yeah.
Got a foul here at the line, and first is good. Barnaghi putting up the second. Good with both. That's 2 for the Kawadi out of University of Southern California. Going the other way now, we got some bench players out on the floor. Deep Woods keeping it out there. They're taking their time building the play. Hawaii passes up to Sunderman. They've given him another chance. The Amphibian slips around and makes the basket.
Yeah, trusting in the play, isolation in the post, as you saw. The rest of the team had pulled out to the three-point line. There was no one around to help provide any kind of defense. It was all up to him.
Another foul here. Tel Delgado picks up his first. Made a little bit too much contact there. That'll keep the ball with Las Vegas. Bernaghi inbounding over to Dunphy. Lauren Dunphy. Lisa Dunphy is in reserve for this game, so Lauren has been having slightly better numbers than her twin sister. Going for the 3, no good on that one. Looked like she had a toe on the line, so probably would have been a 2 anyway, but regardless, bounced off the iron, didn't go anywhere. Then we got too much contact, was able to stop the bucket. Coach isn't too happy about that one, though.
Speaking of the Dunphy twins, with their contracts expiring this coming offseason, do you think they may remain here in Vegas, or does Vegas potentially say goodbye to one of them? And if they choose to, does that mean the other one will decide to leave as well?
Ryan, this is Vegas. Every year it's a roulette wheel roll. I'm pretty sure that the management probably uses a slot machine to determine their rosters.
Hey, it's working for them. If the house is winning, keep going.
It's impossible to say. It was clearly the team tried really hard to keep the Dunphy twins together. It was really awesome on draft night when they made the negotiations necessary to get Lisa and Lauren to be on the team. I understand that they're both very talented women, excellent athletes, and definitely an asset for the club. At the same time, though, you can't deny that Lauren has moved ahead of her sister, and has been a more impressive, certainly has more impressive stats. Whether that means that she'll be alone for the team the next coming seasons, or if they'll continue to work together, we'll have to see. Beautiful play there. There we go. The Kahuna's getting another big bucket there, working inside underneath the basket with the hook over. Is that Tua Wadi?
It was Wadi, and this has been a big run for Hawaii here, and finally Vegas answers back with one of their own, but just barely gets the lead again. 2 points, 27-25 here with under a minute to go.
Matching buckets here from the Auckland Treewad out of New Zealand. That was a beautiful work under the basket there. Giant bug. Haven't seen moves like that since Todd Sinise. First bug drafted in the FBA in 1981. Shot no good. But oddly enough, a little mishandling of the ball on the rebound there. Got a paw on the line, and that'll keep the ball with Hawaii after the missed shot.
Yeah,
14 seconds on the clock.
We talked about Varnaghi struggles pregame and setting up there with a costly turnover already, but thankfully no bucket results from it.
Varnaghi unable to make the basket. Sunderman unable to make the basket go down. Conley inside. Conley, beautiful job staying with it. Failed to get it to go down the first time. The ball got tapped, but he was able to swipe it back and able to get the bucket to go down. That makes Las Vegas up by 4 with 15 seconds left in the first. Keeping the ball outside. Hawaii. They've got a little bit of time. The 2 seconds to the shot clock of the game clock. We got 2 seconds. Kenya put the ball up, but they decide to hold on to it. Didn't quite make it to the half line for that one. That'll end the first with the wild cards up by 4.
Momentum seems to be with the wild cards. You talked about, obviously, Hawaii tends to be a first and fourth quarter team. How does that impact going to the second quarter, their game plan being down by 4 already?
Yeah, this is definitely not what I expected. I would have anticipated Las Vegas would have been willing to allow Hawaii to take a lead in the first with the idea that they would punch hard in the second and the third. But no, in fact, Las Vegas decided, as always, let's gamble it, and they decided to punch hard in the first. A little bit of contact there under the basket. That'll put Hawaii at the charity stripe for 2. Norwich coming out onto the floor, as well as Akalani Kealoha, short fin Mako Shark out of Avian University of Hawaii. At the hotel this evening that I was staying at, I happened to notice Alphonse Norwich in the bar, speaking with Shannon Hickman. I don't know what that was about, but hopefully, a couple of rats seeing each other. I'm sure that it turned out to be their first game with since Shannon's return from the D League.
I mean, two veteran players. They've had many matchups in the league over their careers.
Not as many. I mean, the thing is that Shannon didn't play in the FBA for the last 5 years. She had quite the gap there. Only brought back, kind of a surprise that Las Vegas decided to bring her back when they scrambled up their roster. Ball inside, beautiful job by Hawaii. Got the floater to come down, and that sized up the game, 29 apiece early in the second. Bernaghi at the charity stripe, has to kick it out. Hickman now moving with the ball. Oh, blocked! Common thing for Hickman, unfortunately. Sunderman able to swipe it back. Turnaround, top of the key, no good, in and out. Tipton with a beautiful rebound, keeping the ball alive. That's Dunphy now bringing it up. Inside, Varnaghi. So another swat. When you got Waddy there, you got to watch out. But the waiter out of New Zealand, that is just a lot of bug. And a slammer!
Norwich getting in the action on the dunk contest here tonight, throwing down a very powerful tomahawk jam.
Beautiful job by the by the street rat out of Toxtiff. Seems to have calmed down a lot in his years. He had a lot of controversy in his first couple of years. Not every player that gets involved in a riot, but still, 7 years later, he's still playing and playing strong. He's been a valuable part of the Hawaii's bench for many years now and has been a very reliable part of this steady Hawaii lineup.
Well, steady Hawaii lineup, a lot of their players are players they've drafted, and they just stick around. I mean, obviously I can't complain. Living in Hawaii would be an awesome location.
Absolutely. I wish we could do all of our games in Hawaii, Ryan. I think that would be delightful.
Oh, my God.
Yuskalaski taking it to the rim.
The rookie. Don't break the rim, young man.
Brown Bear out of Sweden, slamming it down with both paws. The last pick of the 2020 draft, and that makes Las Vegas call a timeout.
God, they have to. They've let the lead slip. I mean, they went into this second quarter up by 4, and now they find themselves down by 6. They haven't even made a basket yet in the first 2.5 minutes of this game. Or second quarter, God. What quarter is this?
There's a lot of craziness going on. Rookies slamming the ball down. Hawaii suddenly up by 6, 9.5 minutes left in the second. Clearly, a lot of my predictions about how Las Vegas would play this game did not come to fruition. The steal, the pass inside is swiped by the short fin Mako Shark. From outside, no good, but Wallstein is there to scoop it in, hand it off to Hickman. Kangaroo Rat bringing it up, gives it to Conley, swinging around all around to Tipton. Tipton now trying to get inside. Big push inside, makes it.
Yeah, just the defense for Hawaii has been so smothering down low in the post. Multiple blocks back to back, and Tipton finally able to break that cycle.
It was definitely the play they needed. They had lost quite a bit of momentum there. Opening up and inside, and the foul. Wallstein not putting herself there in the way. Unfortunately, making too much contact and not. If you're going to make contact, you got to stop the bucket. That time she was not able to, so that will put Delgado up for the three-point play, completes it with the free throw.
Yeah, and we see the change for Vegas. They're bringing out Volkov. They can't keep letting Hawaii build this lead right now. Might be a little earlier than they intended, but they have to stop the bleeding here now.
Casey Ruck's on the floor now. First game in a while. New arrival. Came over from Edmonton. Excuse me, from, yes, that's right, from Edmonton, where he used to play with his father, Eddie Rux, was the assistant coach of that team. So I'd wondered how he would do with another club. Kahuna's making the turnaround bucket under the basket go in, and they're up by 9 now. Hawaii 40, Las Vegas 31 with 8 minutes left in the second.
Well, speaking of relatives playing for their assistant coaches, Te Delgado is the nephew of Gary Cross, the assistant coach for Hawaii, mentoring under him.
Very true. That's true, right? And it's definitely a good family connection there. It's always good to see Jerry Cross still being involved in the FBA after an absolutely stellar career. Many, many years playing on the courts, and now assistant coach. Here's enjoying still being involved with the FBA. 6-point differential right now between the teams after that bucket. Actually, that foul, I think.
Yeah, it was a missed bucket by Hawaii.
7.5 minutes in the second. Moving the ball around. Rux, Volkov, kicking it out. Hickman, deep woods. Goes for it! No good. Definitely outside of her range, though I have to admit I am proud of her for trying. And she shows no defense as she just allows Hawaii to slide past and take a bucket.
Yeah,
I pull back my compliments.
Well, I was going to say, that was just such a... The play never developed, and they kind of threw it to her. It's like, okay, you're the only one on the floor right now who might make this shot, so good luck. And then the transition was too quick for her to get back and get in the way of Doyle.
Cross Corrali just showing unbelievable defense, putting up those tattooed arms and making sure that there is no chance of getting at the basket, able to steal away, going back the other direction, and Cross Corrali drawing the foul gives him a chance to put up 2 more.
And if he makes his second, we'll have our first 10-point lead of the night. Castor's curse comes out again. So only down by 9 at the moment.
Rux wide open. Nobody was expecting the Brown Hyena out of Alabama Mammalian University. Rux wide open, spreading the defense and able to take it right to the bucket.
Oh, well, yeah, with the players they have on the floor, he was the last one they expected to actually get the ball there, but they completely left a lane open to the basket, and he's going to take it.
Now, this is definitely one of the advantages of having this different roster every season, is that you don't know who to put the pressure on. It looks like Hawaii isn't quite clear on where they want to keep their double teams, where the pressure should be. And they thought Rux wouldn't be a threat, but the Ruckus came through, took it right to the hoop. No good on the long ball there. Barrett able to scoop in the rebound, brings it up, hands it off to Cross Corrali. Cross Corrali coming off of a 3-2. Tries to put it, and he gets the alley-oop to go down!
And on the other end, a stable roster builds team chemistry just like that. JCK knew exactly where Scooney was going, and Scooney had the trust in JCK to get him the ball right where he needed it for an alley-oop.
That is precisely the kind of teamwork that I was expecting to see. JCK, Scooney have been playing together for years. They know each other. They know each other's games. You know those kinds of connections don't happen until you have gotten so familiar with another player. That's something you've got to be afraid of when you're facing a team with players that have that much experience working with each other.
Well, they're both hungry for a ring, and that's part of the reason why I feel like they came back in this offseason. This team had multiple pieces up for free agency, and yet all of them returned. They all believe in the system. They all believe that they can win a ring together.
But the amazing thing is that here in the Western Conference, any team's got it. We've got so many teams that are only within a handful of games of each other. And the truth of the matter is that with at this position halfway through the season, who knows who could be at the top? It could be anyone. Volkov getting that bucket that brings the game within 5 in the last second of the first half. The buzzer beater is good. Oh, excuse me. That was the 4.5 minutes. I was looking at the shot clock, not the game clock. I got a little bit excited there. 4.25 minutes left in the second here. And but that buzzer beater did go down and brings the differential to 7. Hawaii 47, Las Vegas 40.
Well, I'm just impressed with JCK getting over Volkov. There is a significant difference between those two, and he found a way to get it over the Wolf. And yet, on the other end, he gets the miss and the bucket, forcing Hawaii to call a timeout.
JCK's a slippery one. You never know what he's going to do, and I got to admit, he's been one of the most exciting players to watch in the FBA for many, many years. Drafted by Hawaii, has not left. He has been a forever with that team, and boy, Hawaii has rewarded him, and he's rewarded Hawaii. Of course, many of us remember back in 2019, March 25th, when he hit 53 points in a game. That's the kind of performance you can sometimes get out of JCK. That Saluki Khan is really remarkable. And he's showing some of that remarkable ability here.
Yeah, when he gets it going from beyond the arc, he is unstoppable. We haven't seen that here yet. He's been mostly playing from the mid-range and driving to the basket. But if he gets it going from beyond the arc, Vegas is in trouble.
Summers back on the floor. Volkov, big pass. Umechi down low. And they're isolating him. Bad idea. Who got the idea of letting Doyle alone try to control Umechi? Of course, Umechi making the basket. You can't stop the veteran.
Yeah, and you just saw Vegas was willing to just stand at the three-point line, just go, okay, Umechi, just take care of it. We trust you.
And Hawaii just giving him space to work. I have to admit, that's something where I feel like they could have made a better decision there. Beautiful floater there for another bucket for Hawaii. But at the end, Warren Doyle, fine player, but he's going to need help against one of the greatest small forwards to ever play the position. I mean, Roger Umechi, Husky out of Akron, is an amazing player.
Yeah, on his fourth team here now, obviously. It seems like anywhere he goes, he just plugs right in and is the centerpiece of any roster he goes to.
That's one of the beautiful things about Roger Umechi. He's definitely he's such a veteran. He's such a professional. He knows exactly how to play. Summers from outside, and he hits it. The three ball from the Kangaroo out of UFLA. Beautiful job by Summers. That brings the game within 4. Inside, the ball is lost. Slides out, and the refs are saying that Hawaii was the last one to touch it. They're going to turn the ball over to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I thought that was tipped out there, but they're calling it on last touch by Yona, I think.
They had the eyes down there. We're up here, so trust their call on this one. But in any case, going over to Summers. Summers now with it. Takes a step inside, brings it up, and another one. No three this time. Got those long Kangaroo feet just inside the line, so that'll be for 2. But the long ball is good, and now it's within a bucket, 51-49.
See, I love the pick and pop plays, especially utilizing Wallstein and Volkov. They have the size, and they get them wide open off those pick plays.
Well, this is definitely why Las Vegas wanted to put those big players up on their starting line for this game. Had to go with the height against the Hawaii team, and it seems to be paying off. No good by Hawaii. Umechi's with it. Umechi inside, puts it up. No good with the roll, and this time Doyle is there to collect the rebound. Gets up the basket now, cross Corrali inside. Tough play. Unable to complete, but if you're going to stop them from making it to the basket, you stop them. That time, the defense worked. Cross Corrali will have to take 2.
And Vegas, a little while ago, was down by 9, but once the starters came back in, they've managed to chip away, and they're back within striking distance with only a minute and a quarter left to go in this half. Do we see Vegas close the gap and tie it up before this game heads to halftime?
It's possibly they got a shot at it. That's right now it's within 2 possessions, 4-point match. But unlucky a roll there. I had to hold my breath on that one. The ball just holding on the ring before deciding to fall the wrong way. So no bucket there. We're less than a minute left. Still only 10 seconds on the shot clock. Hawaii in charge, putting it inside. No good, but they got the recovery. They'll give them a fresh basket, give them a fresh shot clock. Cross Corrali now, taking it inside. Got a few seconds to shoot. Swatted down. Zaire Tipton, getting those big paws in the way. That was a Terranora quality block there. Inside Varnaghi, left wide open. How could you not see the Kawadi there all by himself?
And they were just so focused on shutting down Tipton with the ball. And that, again, players that aren't the main focus slipping in between the defense and getting open looks at the basket multiple times here tonight. 1
second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. They're trying to burn it down. Hawaii putting up the shot, no good. Ball slid out, 1.9 seconds, and it's the Kahuna's ball. So, looks like Las Vegas will probably be going in behind, but will Hawaii be able to capitalize on this inbound? Delgado with a long 3, no good. Scraped the front of the basket, and that will end the first half.
Yeah, very, very close game as we dive into the halftime. I will look at the stats in just a second, but it can't get any closer. I mean, I thought for a second there Hawaii was going to pull away, but they pulled it back. Las Vegas still in this game.
Las Vegas has been really holding it. They definitely had a lot of weakness coming into the second quarter. Surprising me, they decided to go with a different kind of play here and pushed hard on the first quarter instead of the second. But at the same time, though, they have recovered.
And now let's dive into the stats.
So, checking out the stats
Starting
right
with the
now in
wild
this game,
cards.
we've got Roger Umechi, of
Umechis.
course, leading for the Las Vegas Wildcards. 9 points, got a rebound, 2 assists. He's a 4 of 8 of shooting right now. And Nikolai Volkov, not far behind, actually leading in points, 11 with 6 rebounds. Impressive job by the Stepwolf out of Russia. Marian Wallstein also doing quite well. Misha Maxwell coming off the bench for this game.
No, she's starting.
She's probably, you're right, shooting guard. I was mixing her up with Lindsey Morrison.
Yeah.
Misha Maxwell, 7 points, rebound and assist on this one. Zare Tipton, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. She is coming off of the bench for this one. Varnagi, very critical here in the last minutes of the first half. 4 points. Beautiful job there from him. And Lauren Dunphy, got to get my sisters right. 2 points for her. And Casey Rux, in only his second game of the season, got himself a bucket, 1 of 2 in shooting. Shan Hickman still yet to score. And Lindsey Morrison, one of their usually most productive players, so far scoreless. 2 attempts, not able to get either of them to come down. Tyler Conley, on the other hand, has been able to shoot well. Got 2 points, got himself a rebound. On the other side, Warren Doyle leading the team, 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Excellent shooting, 3 of 4. Well, perfect from the woods as well, 1 and 1. Julian Cross Corrali coming up right behind him with 9 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Poor shooting, 3 out of 9, and unable to connect so far from long range. Scooty Barrett, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, doing a good job there. And Zach Tate, still so far scoreless, not been able to get the Zaria out of Pred Tech of Northern California to be able to get any points on the board here in the first half. No doubt he's saving it all for the second. Bassett out having a surprising game, 6 points so far. Excellent job by the Beach Martin out of Boston Interspecies University. That's where you're from, isn't it, Ryan?
Yes, it is. Representing my alumni well here tonight.
Very exciting. You must be pleased to see how he's doing so far. Alphonse Norwich, 2 points, got a rebound and an assist so far. Perfect in shooting. Excellent job by the Street Rat out of UK. And then Tua Wadi, 2 rebounds and an assist on this one so far. Got a big block as well. Sunderman, for all the teasing that I've been making here for him, is 6 points, so he's been doing a lot better than I realized. 2 rebounds, got an assist as well. Excellent job by the Axolotl out of Florida Everglade. And Eldred Dara, the only player who was playing for another team last year on Hawaii. Not yet scored.
Yep.
Second half begins. Hawaii's up by a bucket, 53-51. The shot is good by Hawaii. That brings them up by 2 buckets. Jona Vastenhout must have heard what my comments during halftime and was able to put that up from 14 feet out.
I highly doubt they're listening to us right now. I'm sure the coach is a little disappointed that they've let that lead slip away that they had built up in that second quarter.
Don't tell me that. It's very important for my ego that I believe that all the players listen to me at all the time. Las Vegas unable to connect with their possession, not able to capitalize. The ball goes back to Hawaii. They're now with possession, 10 seconds of the shot clock, keeping it far out. Wide open entrance. Why did you allow the defense? Was there even a defense there?
Okay, they listened to you. I forget. I concede. Tate scored a bucket after you commented on him not doing anything.
Yes, Tate has finally found his points. He was very disappointed, no doubt, in my comments about him being scoreless and decided to change that. Umechi inside! Mr. Umechi, there are pups in this audience.
Once again, I don't think he cares.
That is incredible. The Umechi can definitely bring the great dunks there. Barrett able to dunk it as well, slamming it down with one paw, though I got to admit, Scooney, the dunk is good, but Umechi did swing it around. It looks really good when he swings it around.
Well, that's the first non-dunk of this half.
Dennis Summers inside, able to get the hook shot to go down. Back to a 4-point game. Hawaii 59, Las Vegas 55. 10 minutes in the third. Balls in the deep woods. Step inside, going for the long 2, but no good. Wallstein is right there to gather it up, and Summers bringing it back up. So here Las Vegas got a chance to chip away at the deficit.
Yeah, JCK hasn't been hitting from beyond the arc tonight, so I understand him choosing to play a little bit of closer range game, but he needs to get those three-pointers going at some point here.
Pass across, big pass, Umechi, inside, just at the line, able to make it go down. A pause on the line, so that'll be for 2. Brings it within a bucket. 9.5 minutes left in the third. Zach Tate, for some reason, playing point guard, taking it inside himself, and exactly as you expect would happen when you have your center playing your point guard. Didn't go anywhere. Inside, Hawaii able to close the deficit. It's a tie game, 59 apiece. Misha Maxwell with the floater off the pause.
Yeah, she's definitely picking it up here. She had a cold start, but she has found her rhythm. Even in the second half, she hasn't let it bother her early troubles. Tying the game up there, 59 apiece.
Passing out from 3. No good, but grabbed up by Tate. And Tate able to make the hook go down and the foul.
And that's the third personal foul on Wallstein. Got to be careful. She's starting to get into that foul trouble. If she gets a fourth here, they might have to pull her until the fourth quarter.
Very rare to see. She's usually not this aggressive, but she is clearly taking it hard to Zach Tate. She's got a job to do, and she's doing it. Got to be impressed by that. Maxwell taking the pass inside, step back, fade away, no good. But Wallstein is there to gather it up, and Wallstein's now the one going to the chair to strike.
Yeah, she's definitely showing up here tonight. They gave her a big task of containing Zach Tate, and she did great in the first half, kept them scoreless. But now, getting a little chippy between the two here.
Miriam Wallstein showing impressive aggression in this game, really being impressed by the African Cape Buffalo out of Cal State Palmcaster. Recently learned that the V stands for Verdis Varda. I'm probably saying that wrong, but it means green rose.
Where's the green?
I don't know. I learned that it was from paperwork from Las Vegas. I didn't get to ask her myself.
And we're in the desert.
Now, the only person I got to speak to before this game was the lead trainer for Las Vegas, Shauna Beller, told me that Hawaii is a tough team to beat. I made sure my guys and gals were ready, so let's hope that hard training pays off tonight. Apparently it paid off there. Beautiful job bringing the ball inside for another slam.
Apparently we signed up for the dunk contest and we didn't even realize it here.
It sure seems that way. I am been impressed how athletic these players have been, but I guess when you're scrambling your roster again and again, Umechi gonna try again. Wow, Umechi, beautiful sacrifice there. I think he saw that he wasn't going to be able to reach the basket in time. Instead, puts up the floater and leans into it, makes sure to draw that contact, and that puts his paws right at the line for 2, makes the first. Las Vegas now with a lead by 2 points. Make it a 3-point game if he's able to make this one go down. And he does.
Yeah, Mechi's pretty consistent from the free throw line. He loves to draw that contact and get to the charity stripe. Bit of a surprise, JCK. That's his third personal foul as well. Now 2 players starting to get into some foul trouble here.
Baston out hitting the 14-foot jumper. That brings their deficit to 1 point. Hawaii behind 64 to Las Vegas 65. 7.5 minutes left of the third. Volkov pass inside. Umechi, he's on fire. The Husky, another leader. Not this time, though. A little bit too much mustard on that one. Rolled off the rim. Inside, Dara gets his bucket.
The one outsider. The Black
Elder
Wolf
Dara,
finally brought in.
The only player on the Hawaii team that was not with Hawaii last
semester.
Year. Yeah, boy. I've been talking with a lot of students lately, and last year, but came out of Albany, Black Shuck out of Baltimore Bay University.
Well, I mean, it's almost time for March Madness. That's not too far around the corner.
I've got a lot of reporting to catch up on, and unfortunately, now that I'm with Hobo, they've got me working very hard on FBA focus. I'm keeping very focused. I'm working with Margaret Walters on a lot of stuff, and she's all FBA. So I think that I'm not going to be going very far there outside of those bounds. Unlike that ball that went very far out of those bounds, a pass to somebody in the hall apparently.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it made it to the locker room, actually.
So yeah, that'll be a turnover there. Give it back to Hawaii. Hawaii now taking the lead. They've got a point up, 66 to Las Vegas 65. Assenhout bringing it up. Oh, excuse me, cross Corrali. Hand it off to Waddy. Going around to now there's Vassenhout on the opposite side. Finds his entrance, gets inside, puts up the shot, no good, but Waddy is there to pick it up and draw the foul and the bucket.
And that's 5 now on Wallstein. They are going to have to bench her. They can't keep her in at this point unless they really risk her fouling out, and it looks like they will, in fact, pull her.
Yeah, they've got to. They're going to need her in that fourth quarter. They need her height. They need her strength. She has done an amazing job of keeping, Zach Tate scoreless until this half. I mean, she has done a spectacular job of keeping that defense going, but at the same time, now she's in foul trouble. Rux from 3. No good. Too much on that one. Hit the back of the iron and out. Recovered by Hawaii. That's now bringing it up. Dara, another shot off the paw. No good. Volkov there to pick it up. Fast transition. Tyler Conley. Hit it to Tipton. Tipton slamming it down with the oily paw.
Just good heads-up play there. Conley realizing the defense was starting to collapse on him, and Tipton had a wide open lane at the basket. Easy assist for him to pad his stats.
Gotta love this fast transitioning. They are just picking up the pace. Las Vegas down by 1. Beautiful pass to Waddy inside, and the big bug able to roll it down.
And that was a amazing behind the head pass there.
Excellent floor awareness there. You gotta love this team. That is, again, the kind of thing you can only get away with when you've got players that know each other well. That's the kind of play that only develops after years and years of developing a lot of teamwork.
Yeah,
Las Vegas able to answer back with a bucket that puts it within 1.
And Hawaii on the other end, I'm starting to notice a double team coming out against Volkov, but Volkov lets him slip by. Vassenhout slamming it down.
Vassenhout, you think, is just here to put up the floaters and the jumpers, but that time shows that nope, the Beach Martin out of Boston Interspecies, he'll take it right to the brim if he wants to. Maybe he got to listen to a little bit of his electronic trance music while he was in the locker room during halftime and got him all pepped up for that one. High arcing floater coming down. Beautiful job with the soft touch.
The only way to avoid getting blocked there from the bigger Wolf defender, like I said, a high floater.
Conley putting up from 3, but no good. It's recovered by Hawaii. Trying for another 3 ball. Conley seems to think that he's got that outside shot, but it's just not coming down for him. The double team. Oh, too much contact, though. Zary Tipton picks up a foul. We've got a lot of different paws coming out onto the floor. Hawaii now sliding up to 5 ahead, 74 to Las Vegas 69, and Hawaii with possession. Norwich back on the floor. Deep Woods with this one. He's got some space to work, takes it to baseline, and puts it up. Able to connect right away from the Street Rat out of UK.
And now we have both teams sitting out their second unit, giving a chance for their starters to rest. Likely don't see them again until a couple minutes into the fourth quarter. See if Vegas can close this gap or if Hawaii can extend it.
Oh, rattled in and out. Beautiful shot. Had the open look. It was a great setup, but couldn't make it come down, unfortunately. And now Hawaii again with control and a chance to extend their lead. Hand off to Norwich. Norwich passes to Dara. Big Wolf, beautiful behind the back pass on the way in, and a big push. Zary Tipton giving the Wolf a shove. The Black Shuck hitting the floor as the Otter puts on the pressure. Dara unable to connect with the first of the 2, but able to make the second, splits the free throws. That makes it an 8-point game. Hawaii 77, Las Vegas 69, with 2 3/4 minutes in the third.
Yeah, it makes the foul almost worth it, coming away with a 1-point difference. Could have been worse, could have been a 2-pointer.
In the end, it's a good play. Zary Tipton had a foul to give. Knew she had to bring some force in, or else Dara was going to make it to the bucket. And in the end, you're absolutely right. It's a good sacrifice.
Well, not just that. The fact that Wallstein now is in foul trouble. I mean, if she fouls out, there's not a lot of depth on the Vegas side to fill her spot. They do have to be mindful, though. If 2 or 3 of their players, bigs, get in trouble foul-wise, they might start having to play small ball.
Beautiful pass to Kealoha down low. Right, a blind pass from behind, and the Shark was right there to pick it up and put up the shot. And that puts Hawaii up by 10. It's a double-digit game. Sunderman stealing it away. And Delgado ahead of the defense, but still a block from behind. Beautiful job by Las Vegas to keep hard on the D with that one.
Yeah, if I'm Vegas, I might be calling a timeout here. They've let Hawaii build a bit of a lead, and it's been a bit of a run, 17-5. And Lauren going to try for a 3, and it's not going to go. And this just is, you hear the crowd not happy right now.
No, definitely not. This is really not working out for them. Still a 10-point game, 1.25 minutes left in the third. And Las Vegas just looking tired, not making their shots, open up their defense, and there they allow another one. That makes it a 12-point game. Hawaii running away with it here in the third, exactly the opposite of what I was expecting to see.
Well, you talked about their ability to play in the middle of the game, but that fiery start at the beginning, that may have gassed them early, and now they're just running on fumes, and they definitely do need their starters to get rested quickly so they can come back in and hopefully right the ship, because this is not going well for them here.
Yeah, that was an absolute terrible play there. Just completely open, was able to get free, and had a completely open look and not able to make it go down. And there, Las Vegas gives up another one, allowed Hokulani Kealoha to get another shot inside. Makes it a 14-point match here in the last 20 seconds of the third. Finally able to connect. That was the long ball. The 23-foot shot goes down.
Yeah, as I say, welcome to the Tongue Twister League. This is no longer a basketball league. Just trying to say the names as quick as possible is a challenge in itself.
I never covered hockey for this reason. Late in the clock run down. Hawaii taking the last shot. A long 2 is no good, and an out in the game. And the third quarter will end with Hawaii up by 12.
Yeah, I have to worry if you're Vegas, if the Kunas, as you predicted, they like to play the fourth quarter strong. Or is this an unfixable situation? Is it impossible to come back at this point? Or do you have an opportunity to maybe chip away at this lead?
This is definitely not where Vegas wants to be. Vegas wanted to have a good lead coming into the fourth and let the fuel run out on Hawaii, but unfortunately that's not the situation, so they are going to have to lean hard on their players. Now, they've got their bench players out right now, so they are apparently going to save them for the last possible minute, but the break seems to have given them something. Lauren Dunphy able to connect from 18 feet out. The jumper goes in, and that puts it a 10-point game, 83-73.
Well, I do see one addition on the floor. The Coffee Husky is back out. Obviously, maybe he got a little shot of espresso during that break. Maybe wanted to come out on the floor and try and lead the team back. He definitely, of the 5 of them, I think he has the most endurance of the starters for Vegas, so he could have an opportunity to help the bench players make up some ground here.
No, they definitely need to lead on him hard. He was the biggest, the brightest spot of the last quarter for Las Vegas, and they needed more out of him. So if they can squeeze a little more out of the Coffee Husky, there's got to be some caffeine left in the guy. Keep his energy up. But there, Hawaii forced into a tough shot, was not able to make it go down. There's another forced tough shot. And here is one of the biggest problems, just the height difference. You've just got so many height options on Hawaii that you don't have on Las Vegas. And when you're playing off of this short bench, it's just tough to compete against all of the towering bodies that you've got out of Hawaii. Stolen. Delgado able to swipe it away. But the defense is good, but not good enough. The floater goes inside, and that's another one. It's now a 14-point match. Hawaii running away with it here early in the fourth.
Yeah, and the most down part is the fact that the crowd is out of it right now. Vegas needs to get something going. They need the crowd behind them. They need that sixth fur backing them up and getting them back into this game. And maybe a Umechi dunk will get them back in it.
Yeah, this is definitely where you need to put a lot of muscle on the strong the strong players on the bench. You got Morrison, you got Tipton, And you got to just lean on them hard and see if you can make this bench work and keep your starters as rested as possible. Las Vegas was able to get a bucket there, but Hawaii answered right back, so it's back to a 14-point match. We've got a lot of cool players out there right now. It's just not working very well for them.
Yeah, Hawaii's defense is just offsetting their plays enough that it's impacting the shots. I mean, here we have Scooney going for an alley-oop to Tate.
Oh, and there's another one. Unbelievable play. Sorry, the twist was not necessary, but appreciated.
I mean, the fans, maybe not what they really want to see, but at least make it worth their continued attendance to this game. Down by 16 now. Vegas calls timeout. No. Honestly, I don't even know if they can fix this situation. They can come back into this. They need something off the bench. Obviously, we saw some players ready to come on the floor.
They got 9 minutes left in this game. This thing can turn around, but you're right. Las Vegas is going to have to make things change. They're going to have to get their starters back out there, and that's exactly what they've done. Summers and Maxwell back on the floor. Wallstein as well. In foul trouble, but now they've got to risk it with her. Volkov, double team, has to kick it out. Maxwell from 3, in! That's the kind of play they needed right now, so hopefully the rest did her well. The Blur M&M, sheet out of Hardawalk University, able to get it to go down from outside, and that makes it a 13-point game. Answered back with a double. The deuce from the top of the key goes down from Baston Hout. So starters are back on the floor to get back to how this game began with 8.5 minutes left in the fourth.
Yeah, a little early for Vegas. They like to usually let them rest a little bit longer, but obviously this situation they had no choice but to, and we'll go the line for 2 there.
Tough defense there, but able to draw that contact, and that brings up 2. So 1 point is good. The second one, also good. That's the kind of thing that Las Vegas needs right now. They're going to have to get accuracy. That's really what it's going to be about. Get some good shots. Make sure they got players that are in position. Defense is spread out. They got man-to-man coverage. The shot from just outside the key is good. They gave him a working space, and Scooney Barrett was able to make it work.
See, and I wonder if Wallstein's foul situation is going to make it worse because she might be a little bit passive here on defense. And as we saw there was a little bit of a gap for her, for Scooney to get that off. But on the other end, Summers keeping tit for tat, making a basket of his own.
That was a really good job getting opening, making the space for himself. But this is the kind of thing that the Kangaroos been able to do all season. Really outstanding job of creating his own shots. There, taking the risky long ball. That was an unnecessary shot, and gets punished for it. Popped right out of the rim and went right back into Las Vegas' paws, and they convert it into 2. So that'll scratch away at the deficit. Now it's an 11-point game. So Hawaii gets another deuce. Excuse me, Vegas gets that deuce.
Well, you might just be predicting the future. Hawaii has been very hard to stop on offense.
They will be getting another one. I feel very confident of that. Cross Corrali, deep woods, trying to find his opening. Running out of time, though. He's going to have to take the risky shot. No good on that one, and Summers is right there to gather it up. Kangaroo to the Wolf. Volkov's got it. Volkov, hop step, inside. Good, beautiful play inside the kennel.
Yeah, that's just using that his advantage there. Size-wise, it was only JCK between him and the basket. And honestly, I don't think JCK can block him unless he gets lucky on the way up.
Beautiful grace there from the step wolf out of Russia. That was an outstanding play, and that brings the game within a single digit. Now it's a 9-point match. There's the foul. The defense too tight. We'll get 2 more free throw chances here.
It wasn't Wallstein. That's all that matters.
That's the important thing. That's how good with both. That restores the double-digit deficit. 97-86. Summers now bringing it up. They're still holding on to their starters in this one as we get to 6.25 minutes left in the fourth. Maxwell, turnaround. No good. In and out. Cross Corrali able to bring that back in. Quick transition. Vassenhout. They need to defend him. And they were able to keep him from getting the shot off, but Hawaii able to keep the ball alive, and Vassenhout underneath the basket, fighting his way for another bucket. The second chance points go in.
Tick-tock, under 6 minutes left, and it doesn't really look like the lead's really been chipped away at all here.
No, it's very much the same. They're just not able to get much going there. baseline play is able to go down. That was a good job there. Umechi running down the line and able to scoop the ball right in.
Yeah, expect to see them to rely on him heavily here in these final minutes. 21 points so far tonight, getting it done, mostly from down low, but also from the charity stripe.
Passing out with the ball way outside. There's a mismatch on the defense. They've got something curious going on here. Barrett, double team, turn around, no good. Volkov able to gather it up. The Wolf brings it up. Now they've got another mismatch here, but he finds the inside. Maxwell quickly double team Doyle with a quick pause, able to swipe it away. The quick transition, Vastin out again, but too much mustard on that one. Rolled right around the iron, and Umechi is there to bring it down.
Hawaii starting to get a little passive there. We've seen them running down the shot clock multiple times now, and they're actually going to call timeout. I think coach isn't happy with how they're playing it. They're going to want to make an adjustment here.
Well, this is exactly the kind of thing you didn't want to happen. You did not want Las Vegas to get anything to inspire solid play. An Umechi dunk is what inspires solid play. So that is exactly what Las Vegas needed and why I wanted to prevent. Definitely want to get the timeout before any momentum is built. It's too critical right now. 9 points is a good lead, but with 4 minutes and 42 all left on the clock, there's plenty of time for that to vanish. You don't know how fast that kind of lead can disappear. And you've got teams that can play as well as these clubs.
Well, more importantly, it makes me realize that there's still a crowd here. That's the first time I've really heard them get going since this fourth quarter started.
Yeah, that's another thing that a Umechi dunk does. And he's had some good dunks, I got to admit. I don't think we'll be seeing him in the dunk contest, but boy, oh boy, Husky knows how to elevate, that's for certain. Maxwell gets a personal foul on that one. That will put Hawaii back on the line, exactly the kind of thing they don't want. And now the score is suddenly in the triple-digit range. Hawaii reaching 102. Vegas is 90.
Well, to be fair, Umechi's 13-year veteran. I think at some point you get kind of tired of All-Star Week doing the extracurricular dunk contest. I mean, his old bones. And, oh, my Lord.
Oh, my goodness. Mr. Volkov with the alley-oop, taking the pass and floating it up there. I particularly like the fact that he decided not to dunk it and just floated in while he happened to be elevated. And then swinging out there for the big rebound. Volkov again. The Wolf really making a statement here. Inside, Volkov again. Umechi to Volkov. Who let the dogs out?
I mean, they are in sync right now. I mean, Volkov being the recipient of multiple Umechi passes. Umechi basically playing point guard right now, and it's working.
They're probably going to stick with it. He's definitely on fire. Trying to answer with their own, but the pass was not quite, a little bit too far behind the receiver. Not able to make it go down. Whereas Wallstein is there. Wallstein draws the foul this time. She's happy about that one. Zach Tate picking up a foul for him, and that will put Wallstein at the line. Unable to make it go down, though. I guess there was one. I didn't realize she had made the basket. Good for Wallstein. And that actually makes it a 6-point game suddenly. 3.25 minutes left in the fourth. 102-96. Bastenhout pushing inside, turn around, but no good. And Volkov again there, handing off to Umechi. Umechi behind the back dribble. Maxwell flying inside, puts it up off the rim, no good. Transition going quickly here. Quick pass, fast enough from 3. It's good.
Oh, that's going to be painful. They're up by 9 again, just as soon as it seemed like Vegas was back in this game.
That's probably as close to being a dagger without being a dagger as you can get this late in the game and hitting the 3 like that. They're able to get another one to go down, so Las Vegas stems a little bit of the bleeding. Volkov really on fire here late in the fourth. But it's still a 7-point match, 105-98. Hawaii in control and with the momentum. They get inside and they get another one. Hawaii just unstoppable in the kennel.
And they're going to keep going to Umechi, let him play point. He's getting the ball down low when he needs to, or he's making the space himself.
Kick out. Maxwell sliding back for the 3, and she sinks it!
That's how you get back in.
Hitting the big 3. Maybe that is even closer to a dagger, except that Las Vegas still behind, back by 6. Hawaii 107-101. Big long shot, no good. Leading back, there's a little bit too much muscle on that one, and so that ended up not popping right out. Back to Vegas. Wallstein inside, while Tate blocking the African Cape Buffalo at a Palmcaster. But Hawaii not able to capitalize on their possession. Summers now back with it, and the Kangaroo trying to zip past, but decides to hand it back over to Umechi, and I'd hand it to Umechi as well. Hands it to Volkov, and that's another connection. Umechi, Volkov, bucket.
Yeah, utilizing the mismatch there, I think Doyle ended up on Volkov after the switch, and I think Umechi or Volkov against Doyle is going to be a matchup you want every time.
I think there's going to be a pattern we're about to see here. The long ball, no good. That was just outside the key and didn't go in. Back to Las Vegas, and Umechi now with it. Hook shot, beautiful play. Umechi off the glass and in.
Yeah, I call timeout if I'm Hawaii here. You're up by 2, under 50 seconds left to go, but no, they're going to play it. They're going to go with it here.
That is a risky play. I agree with you. I would call a timeout. There was momentum going on. Going for that three. No good. Why did they take that shot? Did you really have it? Volkov again with it. No surprise there. Watch Umechi's paws get on there. Summers now getting past the D. He's double teamed in the key. Off to Wallstein. Wallstein up. No good, but the second chance points are in. It's tied up. 24 seconds. The shot clock is turned off. Timeout, Hawaii.
I think the timeout's a little late there, but Hawaii will get the final possession in all likelihood here. Oh my lord, Vegas. They evaporated that deficit in only a few minutes there. What?
That is a breathtaking play. Absolutely, and this is exactly the nightmare. This is precisely what the timeout was supposed to prevent, and Hawaii let it happen.
Well, not just that. Tate did not box out. He let Volkov get it back and just tap it in for the second chance bucket. And now they need to figure out what they're going to do here. Do you think they're going to sub in their three-pointers, or are they going to keep it and go down low in the post? Who do they give the ball to here in this situation?
Boy, this situation, that is a great question. If you're Hawaii, you got to get this win. You've got to get this, stay alive. Vassenhout has been hot this quarter. Might be tempted to that, but at the same time, you also know there's going to be triple teaming like you wouldn't believe on Jonas. So it's going to have to be, it seems like a JCK moment to me. That'd be my guess. They have Cross Corrali takes the inbound.
They're going to kill time. They're not going to go for a quick shot.
Letting the clock, well, they shouldn't. Letting that clock burn out. They don't want to give Las Vegas a chance to recover if they make that basket. JCK still deep woods, hands off to Doyle. Doyle, not what I would have expected, but he's going to be forced into a shot in just a moment here from three. Doyle, no good. Winston's end of regulation. We are going into overtime.
Another 5 minutes of play here to come.
Unbelievable job by Las Vegas to evaporate a 14-point deficit. They were behind by 16 at one point and still somehow in that quarter able to come back. 5 extra minutes on the clock. And there's the tip-off. This time Hawaii wins it. Barrett's got the ball. Bringing it up fast and out. This is exactly the situation they should not have allowed. A 16-point deficit evaporated all within a half a quarter. Unbelievable. Las Vegas showed some incredible muscle in that fourth.
And there, Doyle hits the three he needed to hit earlier.
And that was the three. Yeah, a little late there. You needed that earlier. So there you go. But Hawaii's got the three. 4.5 minutes in the overtime, and let's see what Las Vegas can do with their first possession in this OT. Give to Wallstein. Volkov now with it. Volkov loses it, but looks like a lot of a scramble there at the line, and somehow the ball goes back to Vegas with a fresh 24 on the clock. That'll work for them. Summers now takes the inbound. Inside, Volkov, come on, guys. How could you not see that? Everybody knows the inbounder is the most dangerous player.
Oh, especially right underneath the basket like that, the Wolf just lays it up and in. Could have slammed it down, but Misha getting a steal there. Fast break opportunity.
Beautiful job by Maxwell to swipe it, and Wallstein just slams it down. This is a new Merriam Wallstein. I do not recognize this remarkable African Cape Buffalo. Usually one of the sweetest centers in the FBA, and this game she has been dominant. Fouled and now slamming it down. She wants this win. Volkov inside. Again, how could you not see the Wolf inside the key?
And Walstein getting it done, over 10 rebounds. I think she's up to 12 now. She's getting it done, boxing out great against Tate and Scooney.
Spectacular job. Putting Wallstein in that center position is the best move the team made for this game. That best roster move. Wow, powerful. Wallstein fouls out. That was it. That was her sixth. And she sacrifices her foul to make sure that Zach Tate didn't make the bucket and forces the Zaria to the line. Fails the first one, gets the second, but that still keeps Hawaii down by a bucket. It's 111 to 113, and Vegas has possession.
I mean, I'm honestly impressed. She played 9 minutes there with 5 fouls. So she was very conscientious about how she went about her play there. And on the other end, chance for the line for Summers.
Super careful. Incredibly impressed with Wallstein. She has done unbelievably well in this game. Very tough to play with all those fouls, and yet still keeping the necessary aggression that they needed from her, and she did it. Unbelievable job. She might be stepping out of this game with a foul out, but at the same time, she's got everything to be impressed. Everyone should be impressed by the play she brought onto this court tonight. Bastenhout now taking inside. That was a tough play. Was able to shoot through the double team and got the floater to come down. Bastenhout now with 23 points. Remarkable. Hawaii still down by 1 and 2.5 minutes left in overtime.
Yeah, this is a position they didn't find themselves in for quite a while, and defense keeping them alive here, but they're the ones now needing a miracle.
What a block! Zach Tate with the first block, and then back-to-back. We've got another one. That puts Warren Doyle at the line with a block from behind. Warren Doyle able to tie up the game with the first one, but not able to connect with the second. Splits the free throws. It's 114 tied up. Inside, Summers draws the foul. The Kangaroo out of Oakland, just sacrificing his body on that one, flying down the baseline. I feel like Summers been watching some Ryan Malone tape here. That was definitely a Malone play.
I mean, not a bad player to base your style off of, or take any hints for your game from. I mean, Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Oh man, it's 4 rings with a chance of possibly getting a 5th if things go well for the Voodoo. It's just an amazing player to be watching. And they're able to tie it back up again, this time 116 apiece with just under 2 minutes left in overtime. Summers once again with control of the ball. He's being pushed back into the very deep woods, but then he's able to make his way in. He gets double teamed, almost loses control, loses the dribble, has to give it off to Volkov. Nothing wrong with that. Back to Umechi. And then Umechi now with the pump fake, but not able to get the bite, but goes in, baseline, and puts it in. Beautiful job by Umechi keeping the team alive. He just scores in every way he can. Doesn't always have to be a rim-rattling dunk that scares all the pups in the audience. This time, Tate with the rebound. Second chance points. Beautiful job, Tate, using the long arms to get that ball back inside. It's a 118 apiece. We're coming up on 1 1/4 minutes here in OT. The floater is good.
And it's not even just the points that Umechi scores, also coming in with the assist and leading the pass perfectly to a lot of the players here tonight. He's responsible for many points with his assist.
This time, Hawaii was able to prevent the bucket. Hawaii not able to capitalize on their possession and goes back to Vegas. Inside, that was a beautiful block there. Excellent job by Zach Tate getting his paw. The block master comes back. Tate now with it. He has got an amazing job with defense here. But now, right now, with less than a minute left in overtime, Hawaii needs offense. They're down by a bucket. Inside, Zach Tate right down to the low kennel, but he has to kick it out. Doyle, time running out. Unable to make the three-pointer go down, but Zach Tate is inside, gets the bucket, and the foul.
They are not happy with that foul call there.
No, that was exactly the thing you did not want to have happen. Now, granted, if you got to get anybody at the line, Zach Tate's not a bad choice, but right now, 120 apiece, Hawaii with a chance to take the lead, and they don't do it. Okay, again, if you got to foul anybody, Zach Tate's the guy to do it. 120 apiece, it's tied up. This crowd is on their feet. We've got a 6-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Maxwell, Volkov from the free throw line. It gets tapped, goes way out of bounds, but it'll remain a wild card's ball with 9 seconds on the shot clock.
And another timeout here. Oh, they want to drop a play on this inbound, and if you're Hawaii, you have to be stressing stressing the fact, don't let the inbounder get the ball back immediately. They have enough time to make some kind of play up here, but who, if you're Vegas, do you go to in this moment? Umechi? Volkov?
Both.
Umechi to Volkov?
Umechi to Volkov. I would say, yeah, it's got to be. They have been so successful in this overtime. They have shown so much last-minute strength that that would be the obvious choice. But at the same time, you never go with the obvious choice. You always want to make sure that you trick them a little bit. This would be a chance. Summers would be a great choice. Summers has been shooting very well, doing a fantastic job. If he can just gather up a little more Ryan Malone spirit, and he was the master of the last minute shot. And so I think that if he can just channel a little bit of that, he might be able to get out of Summers. But really, you just got to make sure you pull this off. Wallstein did not sit down for nothing. Do it for Wallstein.
Now they leave time on the clock either way, and Vegas will have to answer back, or Hawaii will have to answer back with one of their own.
Yeah, very true, very true. They're keeping the ball outside. Deep Woods, the three, no good. It's so now we got this time it's a timeout for Kahunas. They're going to have a shot at getting it at 7.5 seconds. So Las Vegas was not able to build a shot. Hawaii defense was able to keep them back. That was a very excellent job by Hawaii. The defense needed to hold them back, and they were able to succeed. And now Las Vegas is the one that's behind. Hawaii with 7.5 seconds. That's plenty of time to build a shot. They could definitely make something out of this.
Yeah, and you called it too. They went to Summers. They planned on having Summers either take the shot himself or find an open fur, but no one was available. Now for Hawaii, who do they go to? I mean, JCK has been a little hit or miss here tonight.
Yeah, no, I think JCK would be the classic answer, but at the same time, his shooting has been uncertain. Doyle's going to handle the inbound on this one. So goes to Vastenhout, not a bad choice. He's Deep Woods, but he's got to make something happen fast. He puts it up, and no! And so we will have to go into a second overtime.
Oh, God, I have places to be tonight, people.
Yeah, you got to be in this commentary booth, Ryan.
I mean, they pay me for it, and at least they're getting the fans their money's worth here. An extra 10 minutes of play, maybe more to come. We'll see.
It is quite a night in Vegas, that's for certain.
Welcome back,
right.
T-Matt. Hope you have
yeah,
the stamina to go.
Hey, for my first game out. Yes, that's right. My first game after all these years, and you give me a double overtime. Well done, everybody. Well done. Vegas wins the tip-off this time. Umechi on the floor. It's got his paws down there, and he is going to move it inside. Finds Tipton. Beautiful job. Able to just roll it right off the web fingers, and it goes right in. And Las Vegas draws first blood in the second overtime of this match. Hawaii now bringing it up. Vastenhout inside, puts up the floater, and the floater sails over everybody's hands. Vastenhout, 25 points, been incredible all game and into this double overtime match. Volkov inside! The Wolf flying right past the key, through the kennel, and the bucket is in.
I was about to say, this is the second time now that the player who missed the buzzer beater made the very next shot they took.
There's a pattern going on here. Volkov picks up his fourth foul, made too much contact on that one, but not a shooting foul, so they'll inbound. Cross Corrali from three, in and out. No good. Volkov's there, able to pick it up. Hands off to Morrison. We've not seen much from her. She's had some great games this season. Can she have another one? Not right now. Big swat from Zach Tate. Swatted down. That's definitely one of the troubles with putting up your shorter players. And this time, Volkov quickly gets his fifth foul.
And he's not happy with that. There was contact, but that's a judgment call. That was not a lot of contact there on the shot, and they're going to call it. But missing both.
Vastenhout must be getting tired.
Oh, my
Morrison.
goodness.
Oh, my goodness! Zare Tipton able to come in and make the missed shot into a bucket. Beautiful job by Zare Tipton, the River Otter out of Muscle University of Michigan. She saw that the shot wasn't going in, but was right there to slap those big paws around the rock and slam it down. Excellent job by the Otter. Scooney hopefully noticed that one.
Well, now she's matched up against him here tonight. She's playing power forward with Wallstein benched due to the fouling out. And now Volkov also in foul trouble, too. I'm a little concerned if he ends up fouling out, what happens with this team?
Definitely in some trouble there. Volkov not able to make it connect that time, but Las Vegas with a 4-point. Oh, what a collision! Summers only picking up his second there, but made a big collision right in the middle of the kennel, knocking over both players. And that'll give Hawaii a couple up the line. Able to make them both go down, but that still keeps them behind by a bucket. Hawaii 124, Las Vegas 126. With just under 3 minutes left in the second overtime. Unbelievable play. Timeout called.
Yeah, maybe a little early here, but at the same time, might be the best opportunity to have a change of momentum. Obviously, both teams going tit for tat. Vegas wants to get up a big bucket here and try and make it a little bit more difficult for Hawaii. They wanted to keep a 2-possession lead if possible, but I don't know. Umechi, I feel like they need to be inbounding the ball to him, not having him inbound the ball.
Oh, it's double overtime. You got to watch out the fatigue. This is when fatigue really becomes a problem for your players. You know that a guy like Umechi, unbelievable player, but he's got to be wearing down. Those 13 years do gather on you, I can tell you. Cross Corrali inside, beautiful pass, and Cross Corrali slamming it down after the feed inside. Tying it up 126 apiece. Pass inside Summers. Summers on his spot. Now that is just beautiful play. Got into his position, knew exactly how to take that shot, and was able to make it go down. Excellent job by the Wildcards, not going too fancy with their possession on that one.
Yeah, he found an open lane in the basket, just took care of business. That's all he had to do here.
And that's smart. That's smart. I mean, in a game like this, you're starting to get excited. You want to get the big plays, but right now, it's just accurate plays. Make your shots go down. Zach Tate down low, the turnaround, a beautiful shot for the big Zaria. He was able to make it come down. It's back to a 128 tied-up game. As we just passed the 2-minute mark here in the second out. Bill, big block. Vastenhout diving for it, was able to keep it alive. So that was a huge transition. Now Hawaii in the lead, tie game. They've got possession.
We talked about physical fatigue, but mental fatigue starting to come in. This has been a long game for them.
Very long. Extra 10 minutes already on a 48-minute match. And now the turnaround. Vastenhout able to make it go down. Beautiful job by the Beach Martin out of Boston Interspecies. Excellent work there. And that puts Hawaii in the lead right now with a bucket. Minute 20 left in the second overtime. Inside, another foul there, and that will give Las Vegas a cup of the line. Roger Umechi getting the first to go down. The second, he can tie this back up, and he succeeds. Good boy.
Oh God, we're up. We're on track for a third overtime.
Yes, get ready for some overtime pay here, Ryan.
They don't do that. I'm salaried.
Barrett inside. The hook shot is in. Scooney Barrett. He's been having to prove himself against his protege there, Tipton, who's been having some amazing plays here in overtime. Scooney Barrett showing still got that game. Driving inside, big swat. Zach Tate with yet another block. I cannot imagine how many blocks he's had so far in this match. But the defense is brutal. Fouled out. Volkov is fouled out.
Oh, that is the worst possible situation.
Indeed. Now Hawaii up by 2 in the bonus, and they've lost Merriam and Volkov. Oh, this is a tough situation for Las Vegas. 40 seconds left. They got 4 points to make up. Can they keep this thing alive and get that precious third overtime? Tipton putting in her part of it. 18-foot jumper goes in, and now it's a 2-point game. 10-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Hawaii going to run this one down, but that'll leave 10 seconds for Las Vegas to possibly keep this up, except for the Zach Tate alley-oop. Wildcards call the timeout.
Oh, before that basket, I was going to say, I don't even know if Vegas can afford a third overtime with the players dropping like flies. They almost need to go for the win, but now down by 2 possessions. Oh, their options are becoming very limited in what they can do to win this game. They need to force a third overtime now.
Very, very limited. And they've lost all of their big bodies, and that's against one of the biggest teams in the league. This is just not the situation you want to be in. It is amazing that Las Vegas has been able to push Hawaii to the brink the way they have. But here, as we're getting to the finish line, the question becomes, do they have enough assets to be able to get over the hump? It doesn't look very good, unfortunately. Vegas with possession, but 4 points behind, 21 seconds.
They need to go for a three here. I think Summers try and get him the ball, let him go for a three, foul. But now they're going to give it to the Coffee Husky.
Coffee Husky inside, not able to make it go down. Vassenhout was able to get the rebound, and that forces them to do the intentional. And Vassenhout, of course, good with the first. He did miss 2 free throws earlier, but not this time. And this is looking like the game is about to be put away. 16 seconds and 6 points out here in double overtime. Morrison, hand over to Mechi from 3, and no good. The Coffee Husky not able to connect. They're going for another intentional, and that will put another 2 on the charity stripe.
Yeah, that's game. There's 3 possessions now with 8 seconds. Ooh, they've made substitutions, both teams.
Yep. Sure have. Shannon Hickman with it, handing off the cross. And going for the last second big 3, and that's in and out, and it's no good. And so the game will end in double overtime with a Hawaii victory, 140 to 132.
And let's go ahead and dive in the stats. I'll break them down for you. Misha Maxwell, we'll start with Umechi, actually. 29 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists. Almost a double-double coming out from the Coffee Husky, but he was perfect from the free throw line. Volkov, the recipient of many of those assists, 31 points, 23 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal and a block.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that
20 for 20, but fouled out. Oh, he was the piece they were desperately missing in that final couple possessions.
Yes.
Summers, also 21 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Great job with all 3 of them. That was definitely the core of this team, and losing Volkov was just absolutely an unsurvivable wound. That was something that was an asset they needed in that overtime. Losing him was impossible to get around.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tipton, definitely shooting very well, 6 for 8 total from the field, but also getting it done with a block and 3 assists. And then, like I said, Morrison just struggled. Normally a great player, but had a bad night. 0 for 8 here tonight.
Terrible. Unfortunate. Lizzie Morrison, usually such a good player, has had some really good games in the past, but tonight, unfortunately, despite coming off of 2 impressive performances in her previous games, was not able to do it tonight and really fell down. Unfortunate.
And the rest of the bench kind of doing a bit of hit or miss. At least Lauren, I tried to do the Lisa Dunphy thing too. 4 for 9 with an assist and a steal. And Hickman, very limited minutes, only had 9 in that double overtime. That was forever ago, I feel like we last saw her. 0 for 4. Rux also 1 for 3. He only came in because of the foul trouble in that last quarter of the overtime.
Yeah, no, definitely not what you were hoping from the bench there, unfortunately. Shannon Hickman not able to make anything go down. No doubt had a little bit too much to drink with Alfie last night, I assume. But the rest of the team, though, yeah, it's tough to say. The bench needed to do more. Zaire did a fantastic job. We got some great stuff out of Vernaghi, but at the same time, just not enough. It was too concentrated. They needed more to be spread around. And, of course, the ultimate thing, losing your big bodies, you need those, especially against a team like Hawaii.
Well, speaking of Hawaii's big men, Zach Tate had 0 points in the first half, but came out and put up 18, and the addition of overtime helped him kind of pad his stats a little bit.
And you still think he doesn't listen to me?
Fine. Someone will ask him, I'm sure, in the post-game interview if they happen to be tuning in to our analysis of the half.
Guarantee it. It absolutely, it's a fire got lit. No matter whether it was me or Coach, I don't know who, but clearly a fire got lit. Zach Tate turned it on, did an unbelievable job there in the second half, and really brought the offense. But of course, the defense he's brought has been just outrageous. I can't believe how many games, how many Las Vegas possessions ended with blocked by Zach Tate. Blocked by Zach Tate.
And that's mostly what bothered Hickman and Morrison. He got in their face down low and was unrelenting. I think he ended up with 6 blocks in this game.
Oh, you got a 7'5" Zaria who's got an amazing sense of blocking. There's not a lot you can do.
Shoot threes. If he blocks my three-pointer, you have some problems.
I mean, really high floaters. Really high floaters.
Even then, he sometimes just grabs them and pulls them down like they were a pass.
It is a very, very tough. Las Vegas showed here. They had a great plan. I would say that if they did this, if they played this game again, this absolutely was the roster you needed. in order to play this one. The only things that I suppose that I could argue is maybe they could have done a little bit better if they had gotten Tamika Jetson out there, could have added a little bit more height. Not really going to be that effective as far as getting against some of the bigger bodies there, but at least got a little bit more there. And of course, Xavier Cross in deep reserve, which was a shame to see because he's usually a very productive player. But for this game, the coach didn't think that he would be right. And yeah, I got to admit how close this thing came. This probably was the best lineup you could have put against this Hawaii team. It's just that you needed to keep your chess pieces. You needed to keep your big bodies, and they lost them both. But I'm sure they didn't plan for a double overtime match.
I was to say, no one plans to go to double overtime, and no one plans to have both your starter, power forward, and center go get fouled out. That is abnormal, and the fact that they kept it close even after that is impressive. Because remember, Wallstein fouled out in the first overtime, and they managed to tie it back up, and then obviously Volkov fouled out in the second, so they had about 2 minutes where they needed to make magic happen, and they just couldn't make it happen.
It's true. It's true. But I tell you, even though they weren't able to succeed on this one, I would say that both Wallstein and Volkov need to keep their heads high. Both played outstanding in this game. They knew they had a big project ahead of them, holding back Scooney Barrett and Zach Tate. Nothing easy about that whatsoever. Two of the finest defenders in the FBA right now. And they did their part. I think that Wallstein and Volkov did an outstanding job out there. Las Vegas is proud, should be proud, to have these two players on their roster.
Well, not just that. I mean, we still have half a season yet to go. These players are still getting used to each other. The ceiling on this team is still much higher potential. I mean, obviously, I think this game as a whole, if this was a playoff game, this feels like a playoff game here tonight.
It's certainly the energy, the athleticism. You don't see that many dunks usually. You don't see that many balls collapsing onto the hardwood. But a lot of you definitely saw a lot of action going on in this one, and these teams are playing with heart. But the Western Conference is how you got to play right now. This is a brutal conference. So many teams that are just within inches of each other. And a loss like this is precisely the kind of thing that will sink you down in a conference where everyone is so close. But the good news is, wild cards, they did come into this with a 3-game winning streak. That's the kind of thing they need to build up again. They still got plenty of chances here, but no doubt after this, they'll probably sink a step or two in the Western Conference, and all of this is going to be watched more carefully as we enter the second half of this regular season.
And not just that, I mean, Vegas is putting the Mountain Division on notice. Seattle and Montana have to keep an eye out on them. Everyone kind of had a Seattle and Montana's division to win, but Las Vegas is in that discussion now, and they should be in that discussion.
Absolutely. Wild cards are definitely a player, and they're going to be a player into these this postseason. I think that they've got an excellent chance of doing it. They can lose it. Anybody can in this conference, but at the same time, they've got every chance to think that they can lift high up into the conference. There are a lot of good teams that they've got to get around. Hawaii Kahunas, again, showing just why they are so dominant, why they had 2 visits to the finals in the last couple of years, and that they are well positioned to make a third one. Can the Kahunas do it? They absolutely can, and they are going to be tough to face. Coming up with an answer for the Barrett-Tate combination is just hard, and it's just an amazing starting line that they've built up. It's just unbelievable. They've spent many years developing and cultivating this lineup, and it shows. It showed really well tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, great. You stopped Tate and Scooney for the most part in the first half, yet Hawaii was still winning thanks to Vastenhood and JCK. I mean, you can stop 1 or 2, but they just keep multiplying. There's so many different ways they come and attack you from, and that they have to be careful that they can't look too far ahead. Yes, they've been to the finals twice, but if they even start thinking about a third finals appearance, they have to be worried. I mean, obviously Vegas just showed them, and Vegas, 6th-ranked team coming into the night in the conference, and they pushed them to double overtime.
They played with heart. I mean, that is just the simple truth of it. They were smart. One of the things that you really got to watch with Vegas, and that I think that they showed here, that was I was really impressed by. Kahunas are they've settled into what they've got. They know what their power lineup is. They know what their roster is, and they're just kind of holding on to that one. Nothing wrong with that. They got a strong lineup. Wild cards are still experimenting. They're still testing things out, still trying to find that perfect combination with the chess pieces that they've got. And since there's a whole half of the season ahead of them, they've got enough opportunities to keep experimenting and finding out what that secret is going to be. So when we get down to April and we're looking at that last month of the season, it's possible that these wild cards will have figured out the answer and have really come up with something. I wouldn't be surprised. Wild cards might want to think about trying to do an extra trade some point during the season. I mean, the thing is that there are some. They probably should look into picking up some larger assets. They probably need to get some players out there that can bring them some more size. You saw the problem here with Wall Street and Volkov, and they're so dependent on this pairing. If they could give just a little bit of backup, they might have had more of a shot at this one. They just need to get. It's the 7-footers. You got to get some 7-footers on your team, and they got 2 of them. They could use a third.
Yeah, and I mean, there's obviously a number of teams out there. The West might be a little bit harder to get movement considering how many teams are in position to contend to make it to the playoffs. But the East could be ripe for picking with dangling a first round pick. Maybe we talked about Dunphy or the bench players that aren't getting as much minute, but they are starter level. They might be worth throwing into a trade. I mean, Vegas has a lot of talent at the guard position. So I could see them definitely packaging a guard plus first-round pick and return to an East team for a big to help with that depth issue that they have.
All possible. Definitely all possible. So I think that this is exciting to be at this point. This is one of my favorite times of the season, right in the middle of the regular season. We've gotten all the stats from the previous months of November, December, and January. We got 3 more waiting ahead of us to see how these things develop, and you really can see the trajectory the teams are going to be taking. Very exciting time. I'm excited to see it, and boy, I got to tell you, Ryan, it feels good to be back in the commentary booth. It's a lot of fun. I forgot how much fun this is.
I mean, it was a good game. The Vegas and Hawaii definitely showed up for you tonight.
They did. They must have known I was here. Thanks, guys, for keeping me in here a little longer than usual. This is good. It helps me keep with my new diet here, so I didn't run straight to the Vegas buffet. A little less time here to enjoy in the city. Probably a good thing.
Oh, I think your doctor might have a word with you if he sees you on Twitter at a buffet.
Oh, don't worry. He's a UFFL fan. He never listens to me. So, any case, though, Ryan, it has been an absolute delight covering this game with you. Thank you so much for sharing the commentary booth with me.
Yep, thank you once again for joining me, T-Matt. You didn't have an ounce of rust on you.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. 'Cause, yeah, it certainly had been a while. I was kind of wondering if I was still going to be able to keep up, but I guess I got a little Raju Mechi in me as well. I can put in a lot of years and still play real good.
I thought you were supposed to stay away from the caffeine.
I am. That is true. All right. Well, I'll leave that for Roger. So decaffeinated. I don't know if he's into that. That's probably a sin for him. I imagine.
It probably is. He might actually be out to get you now.
Yeah, I might have to use the back door when I leave the stadium. So.
Yeah, well, thank you all,
right.
Wonderful fans, for tuning in for another wonderful SportsDen. I think you're going to be back later, T-Matt, in a future game?
Yes, I am scheduled for another SportsDen episode later in the season. I can't recall exactly which date that was in, but I am going to be back in here. Unfortunately, it won't be with you. I get to join up with somebody else here. It's exciting. This is just like how it was years ago. It's be sharing the commentary booth with a bunch of color commentators. A very exciting time, and I had a great time covering this one with you. So somebody new again for next time. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you'll be with my regular partner, Marcus, Dakota at Queens on March 8th. So right after All-Star Week.
The Marcus Baylor.
Yes. No, the other Marcus Baylor.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I had heard he had gotten into commentary. That's exciting.
I mean, I think the last time you commentated, he was still playing in the league. Actually, no, he retired in 2015. So
yeah, exactly. No, I remember him retiring. So I mean, that's exciting to know. All right, well, good for Marcus. I'm glad to hear that he found himself. You know what? It's a perfect fit for him. It's a perfect fit. He's just the kind of guy who would be absolutely fantastic in the commentary booth. And the only trouble is that now there's not going to be much room left in here.
I'm sure they can find some space up here.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be an extra large-sized commentary booth wherever we're going.
Yeah, well, thank you once again, T Matt, for joining me. Anything you want to say to the fans before we tune out?
Well, I guess there's always one thing I have to say. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I'm T Matt Latrons. I've been sharing this booth with Ryan Eastman. Ryan, again, thank you so much for covering this game with me.
Yeah, thank you for
With
joining me
that,
once again.
and with that,